First up, the nobodies from nowhere. Nobody is watching in the NBA Finals. My NBA champion, Oklahoma City Thunder. So I originally said they would win the NBA championship in 5 games. Then I skimmed through an avalanche of comments from Pacers fans that I did ask for. I asked for the avalanche. And it struck me, these people haven't even watched the Thunder all year, except for maybe twice against their Pacers, 2 wins for the Thunder. So I let my hometown pride carry me right away, and I amended that prediction to Thunder in sweep, Thunder in 4. Yet, after 2 games in which the Thunder have routinely shown that they are just clearly the dominant team, they led by 15 with 9.5 minutes left, as you remember, in Game 1. Maybe you didn't even watch Game 1. Very few people did. And then they led by 22 with 10.5 minutes left in Game 2. So after all I've seen, I am not at all ashamed of my sweep prediction. The Thunder were highly capable of sweeping these finals. Should be up 2-0 with 2 to go. But the Pacers went crazy, like weirdly hot, made 6 threes over the last 9 minutes of Game 1 while the Thunder made none. And the Pacers flat out stole that game. It was freakish and it was flukish. Now, I realized the Pacers had come back 3 miraculous times down 17 in these playoffs. I realize they have magical heart. I give you that. But there was no way they were coming from 15 down in the fourth quarter against this defense and this superstar in this loud city arena. And by the way, 5 of those 6 threes they made down the stretch were extremely contested. One actually was lucky because it banked in off the glass. I don't know. You got a 7-footer shooting a 3 off the glass. No, lucky bank. But they did go in because every hopeless underdog has its day. These very young Thunder, youngest team in the playoffs, just got a little too proud for their own good. They did not take the Pacers seriously until it was too late in Game 1. But when they turn up the heat, when they push down on that accelerator of theirs, they know they are way better than the Pacers. In Game 2, they played about the same way they played in Game 1. They played pretty well, ho-hum, sort of routinely well, nothing particularly special. Yet in Game 2, they just kept their foot on the gas in the fourth quarter, and they made sure Indiana didn't pull any miracles out of their butts this time. Trust me. Trust me on this. The Thunder can play so much better than they did in Game 1 or Game 2, and the Thunder will play much better in Game 3 and Game 4. Look, it all boils down to this. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is by far the best player on the floor, and he just flat out knows it. He's way better than Halliburton, Hallie, as everybody's calling him now, or Siakam. Seriously, SGA MVP can score just about any and every time he feels like scoring. He can get to his mid-range jump shot spot on anybody and shoot over everybody. Mid-range Jays are like free throws to him. He like makes 85%. Like he's at the free throw line standing by himself. He did make 11 or 12 free throws in Game 2. And look, SGA, have you ever, I know nobody's really appreciating this but me, maybe some people in OKC, but have you ever seen anybody split a double team better than SGA? He's 6'6", but he looks like willowy, but he's willowy strong. And he's got as strong and sure of a wizard's handle as I've ever seen. He dribbles into traffic, and I think, no, turnover, no. But he dribbles through traffic in traffic in ways that are magical to me, where I just say, how did you dribble through those two and then that one and then that one, and all of a sudden he's at the rim? Nobody took more shots at the rim this year than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, because nobody split double teams better, triple teams better, lane traffic better than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I've never seen anything quite like it before. You're not a little guy. You're not like some 6-footer just sort of going underneath everybody. You're 6'6". You're Jordan size, height, and you still have the smooth strength to navigate through double teams. Everybody said, well, what if you just, in the playoffs, you just take him out of the game? Well, nobody takes him out of the game. As Mark Daigneault said after the game, you just mark it down. He's going to get 30-something. I figure one of the two games at Indy, where he did tie his career high with 45 this year in the game there, I figure he'll go for 40 in either 3 or 4. It's just who he is, what he does. And by the way, in his first 2 finals games, he scored more points than anybody's ever scored in their first 2 finals games, eclipsing Allen Iverson in his first 2 finals games. It's pretty special stuff. And then what else did he do in game 2? Well, he set the defensive tone with 4 steals. What, with 4 steals? I told you all year he was ranked number 1 in defensive win shares in the entire National Basketball Association. Number 1. So he led the league in scoring, and he was ranked number 1 in defensive win shares. This is extraordinary, and this is why the Thunder are just clearly better than the Pacers. And I'm sure the Thunder had, what was it, from Thursday to Sunday, they had almost sort of 3 days to hear that the Pacers were 7-0 in their last 7 game 2s in playoffs, that they'd won all 3 in these playoffs, game 2s, including road wins at Cavs, at Knicks in game 2s. Very impressive. And in fact, Daigneault said after the game, it is hard to prepare for the Pacers because they played their own unique style. They're not predictable. They're different. It's hard to prepare for the Thunder's defense, but it's hard to prepare for the Pacers' offense because it is extreme motion. I love to watch them. It's like chess master offense, the way they move the basketball. Everybody talks about their speed. Their speed is in the half court, not in the full court. Their speed is in pass, pick pass. It's just a flurry of movement. And Hallie is the head of the snake, and it's a lot of passing from Hallie. He passes like crazy. That's why he had only 5 points going into the fourth quarter in game 2, and he finally got off a little bit in the fourth quarter. It was like Dak Prescott, garbage yards in the fourth quarter. They're very impressive, and in their own sort of flavor of how you have to get ready for them, but the Thunder are starting to figure them out and will continue to figure them out. And after the game, that's why SGA MVP just seemed to shrug at everything Pacers when he was asked right after game 2 about how concerned he was going into game 2. And he just shrugged and said, he thought about it for a second. He's very deep thinking, wants to come up with the exact right answer. He said, basketball is a game of ups and downs, and it's about the team that can stay the most level-headed and just get better. That was his post-game theme. We've just got to get better. SGA knows what I know from watching every single Thunder game this season and last season. I didn't miss a game. The Thunder haven't played all that well in these NBA finals. Trust me, not yet. So the Thunder went from favored by 9.5 in game 1 at home to favored by 11.5 in game 2, obviously at home. So I I did think they'd win by more than 9.5 in game one. I thought they'd win by 20, and they should have won by 20. I thought 10 times during game one they were about to pull away and win by 20. Then before game two, when it came clear that the odds makers expected a big bounce back from OKC in OKC, I said, man, there's no way I'd give the Pacers, with all that momentum, all that fourth quarter momentum from game one, no way I'd give them 11.5 points. Are you kidding? It's just too many. They're too well coached. They're too funky. They have been the best three-point shooting team throughout the playoffs. 11.5? And I was wrong again. Game two was a replay of game one, except the Thunder actually played the last 9 or 10 minutes of the game instead of taking the rest of the night off. And in game two, they won by 17, as they should have in game one. And you say, well, there's no way Aaron Wiggins is going to make 5 threes on the road in a game three. Hey, if you've been watching these guys like I have, Aaron Wiggins is highly capable of getting 30 at Indy in 3 or 4 because he's just not afraid, and he is wildly talented. He scored 30 plus this season twice, and he had 41 against the Kings, albeit at home, but he's a 30 or 40 point kind of guy. And by the way, I keep saying this, but watch Isaiah Joe make 5 threes in either game 3 or game 4. Highly capable. The best shooter on the team is Isaiah Joe. They haven't gotten him untracked yet, unleashed just yet. Lou Dort is capable of making 5 threes in a game. So is Alex Caruso, the defensive dynamo. As you've seen on offense, he's a pretty good three-point shooter. And by the way, if I have convinced you to plunk down a couple of bucks on game 3 or on these finals, big picture, the place to do so is FanDuel. It's America's #1 sports book. It is the franchise, the Cowboys, Yankees, Lakers, all rolled into one. And you can find all the best player props on FanDuel, get the latest stats right inside the app, and see who's consistently hitting the over, who's flirting with triple doubles. And once the game starts, it can really get interesting when you can combine live prop bets into a same game parlay for a chance to win big. Just give FanDuel a shot. I don't know, today. Do it right now. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/my first name Skip /Skip to join today. You can do it now. FanDuel.com/Skip. So weirdly to me, the odds makers are giving the Pacers more respect at home against the Thunder than the odds makers gave the Nuggets and Timberwolves at home against the Thunder. At Denver and at Minnesota in game 3, the Thunder were favored by 6.5 points. But now Wednesday night in Indianapolis, the Thunder are only favored by 3.5. So wait, they went from 11.5 point favorites at home in game 2 to only 3.5 at Indy? And they won game 2 by 17, only 3.5 at Indy. I don't know. I don't get it. I guess Vegas is saying it expected the Thunder to make a statement in game 2, the game it had to win, and that Vegas now expects the Pacers to play a home game 3 like it's a virtual do or die for them. So here I go again. I have been wrong about the first 2 games, but this Thunder team has played very well on the road. Sometimes I actually think it was slightly more consistent on the road than it was at home. That's just, I don't have any stat for that. It's just in my mind's eye. So now that Chet and Jalen Williams broke through their finals jitters, and now that they have gotten Caruso and Aaron Wiggins completely untracked, I just expect Thunder and Lightning in game 3. I expect the Thunder to play the closest to their potential that they have so far in this finals this time, to play their first dominant kind of game in the finals this time. I also expect the Pacers to play this one like it's a virtual do or die before their home crowd. Expect them to play extremely well. But again, if the Thunder play their best game and the Pacers play their best game, the Thunder will win at Indy by 8. So I expect the Thunder to cover. I thought this spread would be 6.5 points, and I still would have given OKC a slight edge at that spread. But maybe I'm not objective. I did, believe it or not, spend the first 18 years of my life in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And by the way, I am still sticking with Thunder in 5, which remains the odds-on outcome for these finals, believe it or not. It's FanDuel.com/skip.